Alright guys, welcome back. Today is going to be 7.3 properties of logs. There will be a Hawks assignment and I'm going to ask you to submit 4 problems at the end of this and that's it. So that'll be your homework for today. I do plan on having a couple Fridays that are work days that you won't have any homework on, so just look out for those and I'll keep you up to date on those. So today's stuff, we're going to talk about the properties to expand and condense logs, and then we're also going to talk about any base the log by applying it to change the base of the formula. So all these examples, the numbers are going to be positive, and I threw examples in there. I'm also going to attach the notes that I filled out for this. There are a couple of other examples I want to fill in as well, though, that are very important to write down. I'll tell you which ones those are. So the properties, the basic rules. The first rule is if your base is the same, then it's going to equal 1. If your base or whatever you're taking it of is the same, it's going to be 1. The product rule, if you're adding, that's the same as multiplying. Alright, so an example, if I said log base 2 of 4 times 3, that's the same as saying log base 2 of 4 plus log base 2 of 3. So adding is multiplying, which means subtraction is division. So whatever comes first goes on top, and then second goes on bottom. And I'm just combining them to make my examples. Also, if you have a number out front, that becomes the exponent of whatever you're taking the log of. So for example, if I had a 4 out front of log base 5, that becomes x to the 4th. So that's where that 4 goes. So just keep that in mind. In inverse rules, if you have log base 7 of 7 or whatever it is, those are going to cancel and you're just going to have 9. So those are the basic rules. You can always go back and look at them, but I think it helps to do examples rather than just talk about the rules and numbers, plugging them in. So the first one, I want you to condense it and write as a single log. This is on the Hawks, so this will help. This one right here. All right, if you do this, I'm adding, so that means I'm going to multiply. However, you are taking log base 10, because it's still log, of 5 times 3 to the second. Because there's a 2 out front, I've got to take it 3 to the second. So that means log of 5 times 9, which would be log of 45. So that would be your answer. All right, so watch out for the number out front. That becomes an exponent. The next one, if you're doing subtraction, okay? Oh, sorry, this is addition still. You're still going to multiply. So I want you guys to try this one. I'm going to pause the video and then I'll give you the answer, but I'm going to have you put in an answer as well on the homework. It'll be a multiple choice question. So I'm going to take x minus 1 times x. So it's going to give you log base x of x squared minus x. That would be your answer. Again, your goal here is to write it as 1 log every single time. So next one, subtraction. If you can simplify it, you can. Just depends on the problem. This one, I'm going to do log base 4. The 12 came first, divided by 2. What is 12 divided by 2? Well, it's log base 4 of 6. Again, you have to simplify as much as you can to solve the problem. I'm going to pause this one, let you guys try this one by yourself. It's subtraction, so that means you're going to divide. Don't forget you can simplify it though, so that becomes natural log of x to the 5th. So just watch out for that. If you have the same exponent, you can do division. This is probably one of the harder ones. You're still doing division, however there is some factoring involved. So we take the natural log of x squared plus 11x plus 30 over x plus 6 because I'm subtracting, so that means I'm dividing. However, this does factor into x plus 6 and x plus 5 on top. So just be careful of that. X plus 6 on bottom. Guess what? You can cancel something. So it just becomes natural log of x plus 5. That would be your answer. And lastly, if you have something that looks like this, the natural logs or the logs are going to cancel. You're going to end up solving the problem. I try to find one on the Hawks that looks like this. So in this problem, the base of the log and the exponent are the same, so they're going to cancel. The log's going to go away. I'm just going to have x. There's a number out front, so that becomes your exponent. X to the 6 would be my answer. All right, so those are some examples. of everything that you would pretty much encounter on the Hawks. There's a couple more that I threw down are a little bit harder at the bottom, and we'll solve those as well. So on this one, it says you're going to condense it, all exponents should be positive, and we're going to solve it. So they give us something like this. Remember, if there's a number out front, that becomes the exponent. So I'm going to take that exponent to everything inside of here. If I'm adding, that means I'm going to multiply because they have the same base of 10. So I'm going to multiply them. So I'm multiplying this times whatever this is, 1 to the third. So I'm going to take x to the 12th, y to the third, because it took 3 times 4, 3 times 1. And then I'm going to take times 1 over x to the third, because if I did 1 to the third, I would get 1. X to the third would be, well, x to the first times 3 would be third. So 1 over x to the third. You're going to multiply those, so you get this. Now you're going to simplify your x's. I'm going to subtract those, so I'm going to have x to the 9th, y to the third as my first thing. So that's a log of that. So that's me combining these two things. They simplify into that. Now I'm going to subtract this from it. So that means I'm going to divide. I have to distribute this still. So it's going to be log of x to the 9th, y to the third, over, I'm dividing by, this is going to be y squared. Now simplify a little bit further. 3 minus 2 would give me 1. So I would get log of x to the 9th y. And that would be my final answer. That's probably the hardest one that you'll see in the Hawks because it has you multiply and then you're going to subtract, which means you're going to divide. So you just have to make sure you watch your signs, simplify as much as you can, and taking properties that we've used before and applying them to this problem. The next one, very similar. I want you guys to try this one by yourself. I will pause the video, give you a second to do it. Probably throw in a multiple choice question here. So I get to here and I can't simplify anymore, so that will be my answer. Again, I can combine them because they all are the same base, natural log from there. If you can do those two, then you can do anything on the Hawks, really. Some of them are really easy, some are a little bit harder. It just depends on the problem. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to expand it now. So they're going to give you the answer and they're going to ask you to write it out. So on this one, I'm multiplying all these terms. So there's 3 separate terms here. There's a 2, there's an x, and there's a y to the third. So if I'm going to do that, I can rewrite this in a couple different ways. So I can rewrite it as multiplication. That's what they want. So log base 3 of 2 plus, because adding is multiplying, log base 3 of x plus, if there's an exponent, that exponent goes out front. Do not forget that, of y. And that would be your answer. So go ahead and try this one. It is division, so that means you're going to subtract. That's your hint for this problem. So that's just working the other way, guys. Solving it that way. And the last thing we're going to do is if you have a log of m over log of b, it equals the natural log of m over natural log of b. So if they give you this and they say solve it, you are going to use a calculator eventually. However, you have to set up the problem first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take log of 9, so log of 9, and I'm going to divide it by the log of the base, so log of 4. So I just made everything into base 10. It makes it a lot easier to solve. And that's what you're going to do on that problem. And then you would just type it into your calculator, whatever that is. It ends up rounding. We're going to round it to 4 decimal places. This one gives you 1.585. And it will ask you that on Hawks as well. So go ahead and try this one, rewrite it, and then solve the problem. Last problem I want to throw in here, guys, before I have you do the homework, is there is one on Hawks that looks like this. You just type it into your calculator. So you're going to do what's on the inside first. So I'm going to do log of 314. When you do that, you get 2.49, whatever. Just leave it in your calculator as a decimal. And then you're going to type in natural log of your answer. So just say ln. You end up getting 0.915. I'm going to have you round it to the 100, to 2 decimal places. And that's just another example of a problem you'll see. But again, you're just using your calculator on these 3 problems. But you do have to know how to set it up correctly. This one's already set up for you. All right, so the last thing I want you guys to do, there are 5 problems here. These are what you're going to submit to me for your homework, and then you're going to do a Hawks assignment. I believe it's Hawks. I'll have to go double check real fast. So the Hawks assignment is 5.4. So the first 3 problems I want you to do are these 3 right here. You can do them in any order. I'll go ahead and number them for you to make it a little bit easier though. So I'll make this on the top left number 1. I'll make this number 2, number 3. And pause it if you need to. Write down those answers. And you're going to go down here. You're going to do number 4 and then number 5. And this one you're breaking it apart. So here you're combining it, making it 1 log. Down here you are breaking it apart. So if you have to, you can pause the video, get those problems. I know it's not a very long lesson. Again, in the future, I think it's going to be 2 Fridays from now. I will give you a little work day to get caught up on everything, and then there's another Friday I threw in there before we come back. That'll be another work day for you guys as well. So make sure you're trying to keep up as much as you can. I will put in zeros in the grade book. If you have any questions, please email me. Again, if something's not working, I need to know immediately. That way I can fix it. I don't mind doing a Google chat anytime. If you have not taken the Hawks test, make sure you finish that and take the Hawks test number 2. It will sneak up on you before you know it. So these 5 problems are what I'm looking for you to submit on Classroom. And then 5.4 is your Hawks assignment. And that's it for today, guys.